We are here at the mining investment event in Quebec City, and I am joined now by the president and CEO of Latin Metals, Keith Henderson. Keith, thank you so much for being with us.
So, pleasure.
Latin Metals is a prospect generator, which is a bit different from other exploration companies. Can you talk about how that model works and why it's been successful?
Yeah, absolutely. The proof of that pudding, I guess, is in people like Rick Rule, who many years ago decided that this was the way to go. And if you talk to him, he'll say he's made more money from prospect generators than any other type of company. The basic problem with exploration is that people raise money, they drill something, they fail, they go and raise more money, they raise more money. The shareholder at the beginning gets diluted and diluted until their original investment is worth essentially nothing. We're doing the complete opposite. We are trying at all times not to dilute the shareholders, and we're diluting at the asset level instead. So we're going to end up with a minority position or a royalty in any discoveries that we make. Well, we have so many more projects and so many opportunities for success that ultimately we have a better chance of succeeding in this very high-risk discovery world for that reason. So we're bringing, all the risk is taken up by our partners. We do a little bit of work, we spend very little money every year, and then our partners come in and take on all the high-risk investment, all of the drilling, which is so high risk, and they're spending all of that money, and we're spending nothing. We're just watching and waiting to see what happens and hoping to participate in a discovery or multiple discoveries.
Wow, that's very interesting and very unique, but that's exactly what shareholders want to hear, right?
I think so. People are really reacting to it well, and if you do it and you stick to it, it works well.
And you have, a large portfolio of projects across South America. So what excites you most about the opportunities that are currently being advanced?
16 projects. It would take a long time to walk through them all, but there are one or two that are kind of interesting.
Yeah.
We've got one that we drilled in 2018 before we decided to be a prospect generator. So it was essentially the last drill hole we ever drilled. It turned out to be a massive discovery. It was the third best copper intersection in the world in Q1 2018. And it was basically around 400 meters intercepted from surface to that depth, open at depth, open in every direction, 0.57% copper, 0.27 grams gold. So to be a little bit sloppy, maybe say 1% copper equivalent. So really significant discovery. That's being advanced right now by one of our partners called Moxico. Moxico are not a very well-known company in North America. They're very well-known in Europe. They're mining in Zambia. They're a $1.8 billion company. And they think very highly of our discovery, and they're advancing it towards production as quickly as they possibly can. So we expect to see about 18,000 meters of drilling on that project this year. And given that it's stepping out from a discovery, we would have a better than normal expectation, I suppose. Any hole can miss, but we think this thing's going to do pretty well, and we're excited to see it.
That is exciting.
The second project that's super interesting is one that was with AngloGold Ashanti. AngloGold Ashanti, as big companies do, are prone to changing their mind, changing their approach, and they decided at some point that they were not going to be in Argentina, they were not going to be in this option agreement, so they gave it back to us, which from the outside might look like a negative event. To us, it was essentially positive. They'd taken our project, they developed some of the greatest looking targets I've seen in a very long time. They were searching for 5 million ounces. They're searching for high-grade gold. They thought they had a target of that caliber there. They got a drill permitted, ready to go, and then they terminated. So it gives us an incredible opportunity, and we've got lots and lots of companies looking at this now. So we'll be able to transition into an even better deal and see this thing actually drill tested this year. So lots and lots of catalysts and drilling coming with 18,000 meters this year, and then it kind of ramps up from there.
Okay, very exciting. Lots coming, sounds like.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the spin-out of Para and Oquist copper projects. What was the thinking behind that, and what does that mean for shareholders?
Well, I'm a huge advocate for the prospect generator model, but no model is entirely perfect. And what we found happening over the years was that from time to time an opportunity would come our way, but it wasn't the kind of opportunity that we would acquire cheaply. And acquiring things cheaply is very important for us in this model. So in a situation where we might have had to raise $10 million to acquire something, it really didn't fit with the model. It would have represented unnecessary shareholder dilution that we'd basically promised not to do. So we decided last year to create a spin-out that run basically more like a standard exploration company. It's populated by shareholders like Latin Metals, owns 6% of the company. The shareholders of Latin Metals got free shares representing about 25%. And then we just raised $3 million of initial capital, some of which was taken up by Latin Metal shareholders as well. So there's a lot of commonality in the shareholder base. But with the spin-out company, as opportunities arise, we're going to be able to react to them. If we need to go raise $5, $10, $15 million to acquire something to take it forward, we can do it without giving it a second thought. And so it just lets us do two things at once in parallel. They are being run as separate companies. We've got a brand new CEO who's taken up the helm at Latin Explorer, which is the name of the spin-out. And he started a couple of weeks ago. So now both of these companies are sitting in our office. Both of them are moving forward, doing kind of different things, but both creating kind of unique opportunities.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And, the story is quite vast. There's a lot happening. You have so much on the go. What do you think is something that maybe investors are overlooking when they hear the story, Latin Metals?
They might be overlooking the fact that we may never have to go back to market to do a financing. Over the years that we've been building this company, we've been in the habit of raising about $1.3 million on average every year. We did a raise fund last year that may well be our last. We don't need to raise money in 2026. We don't need to raise money in 27. And looking forward from there, it looks like we can maintain that because we have lots of money coming in, non-dilutive cash coming in from partners who pay us every year. We've also got other opportunities built into our option agreements where larger amounts of money might come our way. We've got options and warrants that are all vastly in the money. So there's just, I think, no more dilution coming. So I think when you look at our cap table, what you see is what you get. The other thing that's interesting is the scope of what might actually be happening in terms of exploration. I mentioned 18,000 meters of drilling this year. If you look at our agreements, that kind of ramps up to 35,000 meters next year. It ramps up to 40-something thousand meters the following year. Plus, of course, we're doing more deals. So our objective this year is to get every single project that we have out to partners. And if that happens, the amount of meters being drilled on an annual basis could start to be absolutely astonishing. And really, it's drill meters that find deposits. Like you can do as much thinking and exploring in surface geochemistry as you like, but if you're not drilling holes, you're not finding something. And if you have partners who are drilling tens and tens of thousands of meters on your behalf, the chances of success really, really increase. It becomes a pretty exciting story.
And it sounds like that's going to produce a lot of news flow for investors to look forward to. But over the next 12 months, when you look at how that's going to come into play, what do you think are some key milestones and catalysts that investors can look for?
For this year, completing the spin-out was a big milestone for us, and it's created quite a bit of excitement among our shareholders. We've just had the initial drill results from our first drill program this year, which was at Cerro Bio, and we've got the news from our partner that they intend to follow up on that with a second program later in the year. We've got the 15,000 meters that Mexico will be drilling at our porphyry project, and then really just getting all of the other partnerships organized. There's a process here where we make commercial deals with people, but then it takes some time to get the agreements actually papered up and done. But that's what we hope to get done by the end of the year, is have all of these projects out and 5 new projects coming in. And then it's just a pure growth story from there. Every year we can add new projects. It doesn't cost us anymore because all of the big money is being spent by other people. And we just grow and become a bigger and bigger prospect generator.
Sounds like it. Lots of exciting stuff coming from Latin Metals. Keith, thank you so much for being with us. Can you just share your ticker and where you are trading?
We are trading on the Toronto Venture Exchange, and the symbol is LMS. The symbol on our spin-out company, Latin Explorer, is LXE. If you want to reach out to the company, we've got a facility on our website where you can book a meeting with our investor relations IR. Alicia Patterson, who's our VP investor relations, will meet with you, and if necessary, she can arrange a call with me as well. So that's how you get in touch with the company, and we'd be happy to speak to anybody.
Amazing. Sounds great. And I'm sure you're going to get a lot of people interested after hearing all this amazing stuff. So thank you so much for sharing all that with us, Keith.